Back.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, it's way better.
All right. Hi.
One day we'll figure out how to fade that out one of these days.
I'll get to work on that.
Yeah.
Hey everybody.
Thanks for finding the geek spot.
Yeah. Our tens of listeners are showing up by the tens.
Charles, good to see you already. Thanks
Hey,
for joining me.
How was your weekend?
It was busy. You know, I went to the Union game Saturday night. It was a tie, but I got to enjoy the beautiful weather of the monsoon
Yeah.
going on while we were there, so that was exciting.
Yeah.
Did that, got the soccer during the day, got rained out. I got to play at Wilson's last week in Feasterville, which is fun.
Yes, you did. Right around the corner from me.
A lot of little 90s, early 2000s. Good things like that. So we had a lot of those tunes. Got to take my kids to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie Sunday.
Ooh.
I did not get to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie Sunday, but my kids got to.
Oh, well, that's at least a good thing.
So
right?
that's exciting for them. I was hoping that everybody had seen it, and then except for me, and I was going to bring my kid on to actually do a review with you. But I have this funny feeling that you may or may not have actually made it out to the theater.
I did not make it this weekend.
Yeah. So that was that. Other than that, just been they're traveling a lot for work, so it's been tough to keep up. But I managed to squeeze in time to make sure I can give everybody the latest CW updates.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm a little behind on that. Shock.
Yeah.
No.
How about you, man?
It was WrestleMania weekend, so I am feeling like crap, so I'm kind of forcing this tonight. So if my voice sounds a little weird, that's why. Yeah, it was WrestleMania weekend, so that's really all I had planned for pretty much the entire weekend. And it was fun. It was nice. I went over our friend Danny's house on Friday night. I hung out with JJ and a couple of guys there and watched night one there. And then I went over Rain Ange's for Saturday and watched.
Wait, when was
Wait,
WrestleMania?
Sorry, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Saturday at Danny's, Sunday at Ray's. Sorry, told you, not feeling good. And
You lost a whole day.
I did actually somehow lose a whole day. And that leads into that kind of leads into the first big thing I'm going to mention today, but I did not catch up on any CW anything. I did finish the Bad Batch season. And we could talk about that.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey,
we can talk Bad Batch and Mandalorian when we get to the Star Wars stuff. We'll talk the WWE, and then I can go through the CW excitement.
So I am hey Dom and hello to Jack's mom and Charles, of course. I have not. Did I miss a Flash like the Flash episode that wasn't the Flash that I'm not going to watch? There wasn't one after that, right? Or did I miss two?
There's been two that have not been the Flash.
Okay. There you
go.
Yeah, to Dom, for those not watching, Dom does play-by-play over on his channel for the Phillies games. And Dom, if I feel strong enough to make it after this, if not, I definitely will catch one of the 3 Yankees games with you. But yeah, so I'm letting Superman and Lois build up a little bit, and I'm letting the Flash. I'll probably catch all of them up this week.
Yeah. We'll get there. There was some WWE news besides WrestleMania?
There was. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share this picture. Because I told you that Vince McMahon.
I thought he was out. What does he have to do with WWE?
Yeah. So I'm going to share this picture of Vince McMahon.
Oh, that is a shot.
This is the new Vincent Kennedy McMahon. For those of you that are watching, you can see Vince McMahon with his tiny little mustache, and he's dyed his hair and eyebrows.
Yeah, because he went full gray a few years
He
ago,
was
didn't he?
full gray, um, and now he looks like an MCU villain or maybe a DC villain.
The production value on this is definitely more
Or
DC,
DC. Okay. So let me stop that. And then let me get us back in here.
which we've got some good. We've got some DC trailers and Marvel trailers and all sorts of trailers to talk
Okay,
some.
there we go. We're back normal. And I have to take this picture down because it's staring at me on the other screen and it's terrifying. So yeah, so to start off again, it was WrestleMania weekend, and on night one of WrestleMania, Saturday night, they made an announcement that there was a pending sale. Now the WWE there'd been rumors of sales, and that was the whole reason Vince actually came back, was reinstated to the board as the chairman of the board once again. But no longer having creative control, he left that to Paul Levesque, or
Mm.
Triple H, as everyone knows him. Um, Endeavor bought WWE,
Who?
and Endeavor is the company that owns the UFC.
Oh, well, that's a
So,
interesting
in
amalgam.
yes, so Endeavor is valued at $12 billion,
Okay,
and the WWE is valued at $9 billion. So they
that
now
seems backwards, doesn't it?
It does, considering that how long that the WWE has been around, and
Well, and the amount of
yeah,
content the WWE
yes.
generates.
So this is going to be a $21 billion conglomerate company, and what the UFC gets out of this is, I I personally think that there is no production better on the planet than what the WWE does for live events. Their live events, their shows, their graphics. I think that it is night and day, and the fact that they're able to move an entire setup city to city to city the way they are, even though they have multiple trucks now and they're
Yeah.
hop skipping. But back in the day, they used to go like, and the wrestlers talk about it in different interviews, how like one day you're here and one day you're here and one day you're here. And it's much more streamlined now. I think it's a great deal for the UFC. There's a lot of people online that are crying about how now WWE can be legit, and now the crossover and the fighters getting WWE titles and the WWE, and there's not going to be anything like that. You'll probably have some more wrestlers showing up at UFC events, and UFC fighters showing up at wrestling events, but I don't really think there's going to be any in-ring crossover
No, I
between
mean they're different skill sets.
much different skill sets. There's a couple that have. CM Punk tried and failed. Brock Lesnar went to UFC and actually became a champion there, but he's actually a legit badass.
Yeah, he's a big man.
He's a big, big boy. So overall, I'm not going to go through the whole entire WrestleMania card for the 2 nights because there's a lot. There's a lot of matches. There were some real good matches. If you haven't seen WrestleMania, spoilers, obviously. But Roman Reigns, the biggest match of the whole weekend was Roman Reigns versus Cody. And I said from the beginning that Roman was going to keep his title, that Cody was going to lose, and because Roman is closing in on 1,000 days as champion, which there's
Who
only,
has the record?
I believe it's Bruno Sammartino. I actually probably should have pulled that up. But there's only
It's not the Ultimate Warrior.
it is definitely not the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, he had the Intercontinental title for a lot of years, I feel like.
Yeah, but this is the main, like,
Oh, this is the main one. Is it Hulk Hogan? Does he have it?
he's up there. The 10 longest championship reigns. Hulk Hogan had it for 364 days.
Oh, that's convenient.
Macho Man had it for 371 days. He's tied with AJ Styles, who had it for 371 days. John Cena held it for 381. CM Punk 434. And then the top 5 here are Pedro Morales. Remember that name?
No.
No? No. He's an old wrestler. He had it for 1,027. Bruno Sammartino had it for 1,237.
Okay.
1,200. Okay, here we go. And then Hulk Hogan did have it for 1,474 days, third longest.
That's 4 years.
Yeah. Bob
Long time.
Backlund had the second longest reign at 2,135 days.
Wow.
Yes, and the longest is Bruno Sammartino at 2,803 days. So there's only 5 people, as I mentioned there, that have hit over 1,000 days.
Yeah, and a couple of those he's not catching because that'll kill their storyline even worse than it
Exactly.
already is.
So I believe he will hit 1,000 days and will probably lose it at like SummerSlam or something.
Got it.
Um,
Okay.
there were some really good women matches also. I mean, it was a pretty interesting weekend.
Did any of those champions you mentioned show up?
What UFC ones?
No, the wrestling champions.
Oh
Anybody from
no,
that list?
no. Shockingly for a Hollywood, for a Hollywood event, no, they
No
didn't
Hogan,
show
no
it.
Cena?
Well, Cena did. Cena actually came out with a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. It was really cool. They were up on stage, and then he lost.
Oh. Oh.
So hopefully none of them wish that he won because
Well,
no.
hopefully he stays retired.
He has this thing where he wrestles at least once a year, and he's done it for the last like 20 years. So he kind of, um,
Oh,
and
that's right. Didn't he wrestle Roman Reigns last year at WrestleMania?
he was a year or two ago, or maybe SummerSlam. He did,
Yeah. Okay.
but he did. And he wrestled on SmackDown or Raw. He wrestled on Raw in Boston a couple weeks ago.
I got it. I've got the Peacock, so I can see that sometimes.
Yeah. And then to wrap all this up, Snoop Dogg was a co-host with The Miz.
Oh.
And last night, so on night 1, The Miz was in the ring doing his thing, and Pat McAfee showed up. And they did a quick little wrestling match. Pat McAfee is involved on and off. He's phenomenal. He's great. Like, he's actually great in the ring. Then the second night, they had the same basic skit with Snoop and The Miz in the ring, and The Miz talking all his trash. And then they were going to have a quick impromptu match. Shane McMahon came down.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yes. Shane was fired a year ago from the company.
I'm sure. Yeah, probably hasn't gotten a check since, I bet.
Well, he came down to the ring, bounced off the ropes, jumped over The Miz, and blew his quad. No lie.
Oh.
Like legit jumped over him, landed, boom, there goes the quad.
That's fun.
So because nobody knew what was going on, Snoop stepped up, punched The Miz, threw his sunglasses into the crowd, and gave him a people's elbow. And it was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, good for Snoop.
Yeah. So it was a fun wrestling weekend. And then they showed the first like teaser preview of next year's WrestleMania, which is right here in Philadelphia at the Link.
Well, you're going to have to get some interviews.
I'm going to have to get some tickets, dude. I am calling in every favor I have left. I only wish Dave were around because I know Dave would get me backstage somehow because he just managed to always be backstage when he wanted.
That's because Dave looked like nobody was going to stop Dave from going backstage because he'd be like, "Yeah, I know Bob."
There's always this joke that we told people that if you ever wanted to get in a club, just pick up a piece of equipment and walk through the front door if a band's playing, and most times you're not going to be stopped. Dave lived that.
Yeah.
Like Dave did that.
Yeah.
But so that was there's other stuff that went on over the course of the weekend, and we little drinking, not a lot, little.
It's good times, man.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, I turned it on for 5 minutes in between catching up on everything else. Then also I watched another episode of what's the Natasha Lyonne show that I keep trying
Yellowstone?
to watch? No, still not Yellowstone. I will remember what it's called at some point, but I'm still a ways behind. But this week's had Judith Light.
Oh, wow!
And
Who's the boss?
yeah, Who's the Boss?
Wow.
It was actually a really fun episode. Where it was based on they were like hippies that got caught up in something and they were in a retirement home now, and whether they do Poker Face, that's the name of the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen previews for that.
But yeah, I think I've talked about it once or twice, but it was Judith Light and S. Empatha Mark what is her last name? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Isn't the one of the main girls in that from American Pie?
Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah, that's it. Natasha Lyonne.
S. Empatha Murkerson.
Yes,
He
it
was
was on
on
the tip of my
Law and
tongue.
Order and all sorts of
Yeah,
stuff.
it was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
Mhm.
it was super fun. So I'm there. There's still 5 episodes left. I'm behind by quite a bit. Also, watch some of the new show Unstable with Rob Lowe and John Lowe, his son.
Oh, okay.
Super fun. Very funny show. Um, where it's about Rob Lowe plays like an Elon Musk. They even compare him to Elon Musk multiple times, who's just batshit crazy and kind of has a god complex and this, that. And John, his son, who, if you've ever watched them on social media, the two of them are hilarious because his son just constantly bashes Rob Lowe,
Yes,
everything that he posts.
yes, I've seen
Um,
that.
yeah, so now the two of them are in a TV show together,
Oh, that's gotta be
playing father and son.
and what's
And
that on?
oh, I want to say it was Netflix
Okay.
because my wife watched Well Mania or something first, and
Mhm.
then that was on after. Well Mania was. Have you seen? And I'd have to look up her name, but
Probably not.
the show. No, it's not a show. It's Instagram
Maybe.
and a TikTok and everything where she makes fun of like models poses,
No.
and it's like if the Kardashians did this pose, she does it, but it's just like everything's just hanging out, and she's falling down into a pool instead of like looking like she's shining on top of it. She just falls into a pool. You should
Okay.
go look her up.
I will.
I
I will
gotta
have
find out
that
the
I will do.
name. But it was Celeste Barber is her name.
Okay.
Hilarious show.
Okay.
That was good too. My wife had that on. I ended up watching that because it was on in the same house as me. So, but those were fun. But then I did get to the CW stuff.
Yeah, I was talking about that with Maddie Kaplan over the weekend, who really is enjoying Gotham Knights and thinks it's a very uniquely different show.
So Gotham Knights is basically Gotham and Batwoman rolled into one,
Hmm.
but that's all.
Right.
It's there's no it uh, everybody that's done Gotham since Michael Keaton's Batman on TV at least
Right.
holds very hard to Tim Burton's vision of Gotham,
Oh, okay.
where everything's just like that stark, almost over the top color palette.
Right. Right. Right.
And is it modern? Is it not? It's always kind of like a little bit like, oh, why do they have cell phones? Because the cars are not that, but like, you know what I mean? There's always that kind of vibe to Gotham on all of these shows. And Gotham Knights, they're not doing anything super exciting. It's a lot of CW tropes. You know, again,
Okay.
it's a bunch of high school kids that are acting like they're in their 30s, and doing things like they've been around the world forever, but they're supposed to be like 16. Um,
Oh,
you know, like going and stopping bombs and getting actual full grown adults to listen to them about everything that they said because they know better. So it's a fairly tired trope. Court of Owls stuff is fine. That I think that's overplayed between now this Gotham Knights show using it, the Gotham Knights TV show using it. They had it in the Batwoman had it. Gotham had the Court of Owls. It's been all over all of the comic books. There was another comic book that just got even more into the Gilded Age, which tied back to the Gotham Knights video game.
well, they were supposed to do that in Matt Reeves' trilogy, but I did actually read something where they said they're not going to go that route now.
Right, because it's been
Right.
over now. The Court of Owls, as far as Batman, who we've established has been around 80 some odd years, right?
Yeah,
Court of Owls has been around for 12 years.
and
And
been
it
done to
just
death.
everybody's like, "Oh my god, what a great concept! It's an underground organization." Blah blah. It's super easy to make put on TV because all they are is people in masks,
Right. Right.
and it can be anybody. Woo! Cheap, 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 cheap. So they're
Yeah.
doing that everywhere. But I mean, look, I'm still watching that show just because I feel like a completist now on the CW stuff. I gotta see it through.
I'm okay where I'm at.
Lois and Superman, you're still waiting to catch up. I
I
won't spoil anything there, but
definitely will watch that. Yes.
we're going through the same tropes where how do we make Superman powers not matter that he's Superman?
Of course.
Different take on it this time, which is interesting. Um, but they need to get back on track a little bit because they're kind of all over the place with the way they're trying to tell this story. I think they're trying to get through too many different things to get to their story first. Unlike the Flash, which has no idea what it's doing with his story and is just throwing shit at a wall. So I did see something about one of the reasons it's been so awful. Which did you say you caught up on that or no?
No. I'm not
So
going
you're,
to watch
so
the
you're
one. What?
go ahead.
Oh, I'm not going to watch the one. I told you the one right after like the last meet the
Yeah,
first.
yeah. The one with the lucky girl,
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that, but I was gonna start again with
the
Dreamer.
Dreamer episode, which
Yes.
had nothing to do with anything else on the show.
Ah, that's fine.
Um,
You could spoil a little bit of that. I don't care about that.
yeah. Look, there's nothing to spoil. It's about Dreamer and a journey that she's taking that we get sucked into, sort of, but she doesn't know she's on a journey, but then she does, and they explain away like, hey, Iris is like, oh, I'm glad we went to brunch, because they mentioned that before, right? With
Right.
Ryan, and Ryan
Right.
was like, oh, we should go to brunch with everybody. So, oh, we met at brunch, because there's no reason that Iris and Dreamer would know each other or have a relationship, but that's what this whole episode's based on. For
Okay.
no reason. No reason.
None.
And then there continues to be a storyline of Chillblaine and Keone, where
Mhm.
he still wants her to be Killer Frost, but she's not. She's somebody different. So he's super forcing it for no reason.
Gotcha.
And
Love.
she's playing right into it, but they're also still. I feel so bad for Danielle Panabaker, because she did really good work early on in this show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even going back to what was it? The Superhero High or whatever that was called.
Oh, Sky High?
Sky High. There it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And everything else she's done. She's great. She's directed a bunch of episodes now too, but uh I don't even know how much they paid her to do this season, because she is god awful.
Oof.
Like I can't imagine she's enjoying herself this season, because it is just horrendous writing for her character every episode.
You think Carlos is sitting back going, ha ha ha, I left at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've just I don't even know what they're doing. They don't even make it through an episode without contradicting things they already said in the episode at this point.
Ah.
It's so much fun, and I still encourage everybody to come on the journey for the last half of the season with me.
So I'll chime in off of what you said is horrible writing, because this will tie right into something that you hate
Mm.
horribly that I love, Yellowstone.
Mm.
So first thing is Matthew McConaughey is confirmed to be part of the Yellowverse universe. See, Yellowstone universe.
Yeah.
They did not say who he was, but he is officially joining the universe.
Okay.
That out of the way. Number two is, have you ever watched any of the Paley Fest videos?
No.
So the Paley Fest is they get a bunch of TV show stars together, and then they like do a Q&A with the crowd, and they
Oh,
ask questions.
Josh Gad hosted a bunch of those, right?
No, that was the pandemic stuff. These were
Oh,
like
got
live in front of the audience. Like I saw
Okay.
Sons of Anarchy one. I saw a couple different ones.
Oh, then yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, they're called Paley Fest. So, Paley Fest this year, wait, let me read this. Was at Los Angeles on Saturday evening, and this article was posted on April 1st, so it was probably this weekend, the weekend before, maybe. Anyway, on the list was Yellowstone. We're supposed to have Taylor Sheridan, executive producer David Glasser, Kevin Costner, Kelly Riley, Cole Hauser, Luke Grimes, Kelsey Asbill, yeah, Wes Bentley, Gil Birmingham, and Jackie Weaver. So they were supposed to all be there for this Paley Fest.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes before the red carpet was supposed to begin, press was let in and given a tip sheet that the only 4 cast member names on it was Josh Lucas, Wendy Moniz, Mo Brings Plenty, and Dawn Olivieri. Paramount Network Development President Keith Cox also attended, but did not speak on the carpet. Everybody else was not there due to scheduling conflicts.
Sounds like no trouble in Yellowstone.
Can you imagine how pissed off would you be if you paid over $100? Some of those tickets were over $100. If you paid over $100 for a ticket to see, Like, let's say we pay over $100 to go see the cast of Smallville, and like Sam Jones shows up and one of
Right.
the directors, like, and nobody else shows up that was supposed to show up. You know what I mean? Like, not that the Sam Jones is bad, but
Look, those
he's
guys are working to make sure Al Goff is as big of a deal as you can imagine
yeah.
on their
So
their talk thing.
they yeah, so they didn't there nobody showed up, and
It's
people were
interesting.
pretty pissed.
Like,
Yeah, it is. And one of the other executive
maybe they finally watched their show and they said,
one,
"You know what? I can't talk about this anymore."
one of the executive producers did say that Kevin Costner um, and Taylor Sheridan are confident he's going to continue with the show. It's still not a ringing endorsement that we're ever
No.
going to get the second half of this season.
No, and the fact they haven't even started filming yet, it's kinda crazy.
Right.
Like, this new methodology that everybody has of, like, "We're gonna split the season." Like, no, just make a season.
Just do it. Just do it.
So, this is a little bit off, but
Yeah.
speaking of the season thing, so we reported a couple weeks ago about Willow
Mm-hmm.
being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Willow is not canceled.
No, we forgot to mention that last week.
What happened with it is, so they released everybody from their contracts for 2023
Right.
so that they can go take other projects and actually make some money this year. Because they know they're not gonna get back to filming until 2024.
Right.
And the problem is now, oh, they're released from their contracts, so the show must be canceled. And we see that all the time with things, right? Like,
Yeah.
because God forbid the internet go 30 seconds without some kind of spoiler for something.
Oh,
So they did announce, though, that the only thing that happened was the show released the actors for this year so they can pursue opportunities during the 2023 calendar year. And then
right.
they're back under contract in 2024 because they're all still tied to the show.
That
It's
makes
going
sense.
to have season 2 filming next year.
Oh, if
Which
you're
also goes back to the problem of not just season split, but the fact that it takes us 3 years between seasons of shows now. I
yeah,
can't keep track of that. It was bad enough with the summer break.
no, it's getting bad. And if and we'll talk about it in a couple minutes. Hi, Pete popped in a couple minutes ago. Um, if you're a fan of these shows like Mandalorian that have these sometimes weekly cameos and spoiler things, if you don't wake up in the morning, ignore social media, go to work, or go right to watch the show, it's ruined within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I've had texts from 2 or 3 different people Wednesday, where it was already what happened in Mandalorian was already ruined, you know? And again, we'll mention that, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Did you remember that there's a Fallout TV show being filmed?
No.
Yeah, well, it's done.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Do you know it's Amazon,
Okay.
and the lead actor in it is, Walter Goggins.
Oh,
Love Walter Goggins.
I
Goggins?
still didn't know this was happening. Goggins.
Goggins.
Yeah, I still didn't know this was happening, but I heard
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be on
Maybe.
Prime Video. It actually started filming last summer.
They are going all in on video game stuff. They're just buying that IP up. That's
Yeah.
fine because they're the only ones that are not shying away from throwing money at things. Though
Yeah.
they are getting just as itchy with the cancel button as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because that Paper Girl show was really well regarded and they canceled that right away.
Huh.
Do we have much more DC stuff or you want to hit that up?
I got a couple little like off things real
Cool.
fast, and then we can run into that. With the Walter Goggins, who was in one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Actually, 3 of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Wow.
Well, he was in Sons of Anarchy
Yes.
towards the end. He was in The Shield.
He did most of Sons of Anarchy.
No. You're confusing him with Tig.
No.
Yeah, Venus.
Yeah,
He-
she was there for like 3 or 4 seasons.
2, like near the end.
Really?
Like
I
the
thought it was
last
more than that.
2.
Could have sworn it
Well,
was more than that. Anyway.
He was in The Shield, which is one of my top 5 TV shows of all time.
Yeah.
And he was in Justified.
Oh, Deadwood's not in your top?
Shit, was he in Deadwood too?
Pretty sure he was in Deadwood too.
I'm gonna have to do a ranking.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't in Deadwood and he was in those other things.
Oh,
I feel like it was a requirement to have been
speaking.
in Deadwood.
Well, the reason I bring up Justified is because Justified City Primeval will pick up 15 years after the end of Justified. and it is coming this summer on FX.
That's exciting.
Yes. And this is also, and it's more ATX TV Festival news. They're gonna have a Dawson's Creek 25th anniversary screening and conversation.
No,
Yes, let's go.
no.
Um,
Like I like Joshua Jackson from Fringe and from the Skulls.
wait,
Yeah,
they really went. Oh, Skulls was a great movie. Skulls was a great movie. I might
it's so
rewatch that.
good.
Because Paul Walker was in that too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you
it's got
want.
it has a really good cast actually.
That's got a great cast.
The Dawson's Creek 25th anniversary screening and conversation, excuse me, will give the fans the opportunity to rewatch the pilot episode in a communal setting. The screening will be followed by a look back with the creatives behind the series. So there'll be some writers and producers and a moderator. At the moment, it doesn't look like there'll be any cast members.
Got it. I was wrong. He was not in Deadwood, by the way.
I didn't think so.
X-Files is getting a reboot, Charles. It's very true.
Yes,
From Ryan Coogler.
yes, it's going to be a diverse cast. This is the only thing I remember seeing about it.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think that's going to be another one that gets really tricky really fast with, you know, that show was so good.
Yeah.
Why reboot it? Because you're not gonna match the hype or the storylines they did. You're just gonna rehash things that have already been worked out between that and other series. So I'm intrigued to see how they do with that. I may or may not tune in. I was not an avid X-Files guy.
No, neither was I.
I did check out the reboot when they did it a few years ago with Mulder and Scully, which I enjoyed that one. But then that one got canceled.
I think that was on the same time as Deep Space Nine, or not same time, but same era as Deep Space Nine was.
Yeah,
I was way more into that.
I was in college when it was on, so I did not really watch TV.
No, you did not. Legendary Entertainment has acquired film and television rights to the video game franchise Street Fighter. Yeah, that's just.
I feel like we've had a movie or two.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And
Like
I'm not gonna.
Chun-Li once or twice on the internet.
I'm not gonna. Kristen Crook played her once.
She did. She did.
In the that was the Van Damme one, I believe. Right?
Maybe that sounds
and
right.
Dan played Guile, and Raul Julia was like on his deathbed filming
as M. Bison.
As M. Bison. Yeah, he literally was on his deathbed filming that movie. I don't even think he saw it release.
Yeah, that all tracks.
Yeah. I won't get into a big long Picard thing. It was another awesome episode. They had a nice awesome Tuvok cameo from Voyager, who turned out to be a changeling. It's continuing to be the best thing on TV. Strange New Worlds will come back June 15th and has already been renewed for season 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
That opens up the storytelling some, which is always good for some of these shows.
It does, and they're gonna start making more Star Trek stuff. There's one called Legacy that's in the works that they haven't officially announced yet, that they're going to announce probably closer to the end of Picard.
Cool. On another Paramount Plus Showtime note, Yellow Jackets second episode dropped. You really got to catch up on this show, man. It is so good. The writing is just nonstop solid, and this week we finally got to where they've been leading.
Okay.
A lot of what they've been leading to for the whole first season and going forward, and has some really trippy approaches to how they send that out there and how they get there. But
that's the one with Melanie Linsky, right?
Yeah, and Juliette Lewis.
Yep.
Christina Ricci. It's an all-star cast. Even look, it's generational, right? They're running concurrent in 2 different time periods, and both casts are just unreal. They're so good. Oh, and Ethan, what's it? Frodo Elijah Wood joins this season too.
Oh, nice. He's a good actor. I like him. Okay, so we had 2 trailers drop. Which way do you want to
go? Let's get the bad one out of the way first.
So DC.
Wow. You just said that one was bad. All right. That's
uh,
fine. We can go with DC, the more colorful.
um, I'm not impressed.
Um,
I'll
look,
let you take the reins on this because this is more your wheelhouse.
so there was a cool. So when I first started collecting comics, one of the first comic books I got was a Blue Beetle one when I still wasn't like diehard,
Hmm.
which was the introduction of Ted Cord as the Blue
Right.
Beetle. Um, so he was the Blue Beetle in the 80s. Before that, there was a Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett, who actually had some powers. Ted Cord was just like a poor man's Batman. But he had like a beetle, flying beetle that is in the preview
Right.
and some other stuff. And then they redid the character to make him not another to make them not another rich white guy in DC. So they made him into a Hispanic Jaime Reyes uh, character and gave him like an alien sentient being is his beetle that just
Okay.
happens to be another blue beetle. And it all ties back to the scarab as you go through the storyline and everything like that. But that's the character we get in this. Susan Sarandon is playing whatever Cord, who's supposedly Ted's sister.
Okay.
But to go back to that, so there's a thing where they're in like I guess the Beetle Cave or something.
Uh-huh.
In the trailer, where you get in the background, there is both Ted Cord and Dan Garrett's Blue Beetle outfits.
Okay.
Blue Beetle was then rewritten during the early or late 80s. A few years later, they took him and tied him with Booster Gold in the Justice League run that Keith Giffen did, and Kevin Maguire, and made them like the most hilarious duo in comic books ever.
I- Is that the
And
one that appeared on Smallville?
yes,
Okay.
yes, more that kind of vibe.
Gotcha.
Um, And Jack in the chat, I don't know that the Mandalorian's being sold to WWE. They loaned Sasha Banks to the Mandalorian last year, but then they
Yes.
decided not to go down that road and take their talent somewhere else.
And she left the company anyway.
Yeah. Um,
Maybe they're selling the Mandalorian to the WWE the same way that the DC universe is selling the Snyderverse to Netflix. There you go. I see
yeah.
next time.
So back to the actual trailer itself. This definitely should not be released in the theaters.
No,
This has all of the vibes of it's a TV show.
I
Is
I
where it looks at like it's got it looks like it's got to go to the family. There's some effects, but it's like, oh, the family's going to be the main piece, and family. I'm like, oh my god,
it's
it's
a
a
CW
CW
show.
show. Yeah, exactly.
Pete.
It is a Berlanti jaunt. So
Oh, yeah. Pete's brother Al is a huge. That's what he meant when he said Al is a Cord BB fan as well. I got a very Iron Man feel from it. So I was just like, the trailer was flashy. Is this going to be one of those movies where all the good shit is in the trailer?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think we got a bulk of that in the trailer because I think a lot of it's going to be. I think we were going to spend too long dealing with him normal before he gets anything. And then I think it's going to be a lot of family dynamics. The family's going to have to come save him at the end.
Gotcha.
All the normal family members because it's going to show that it's not just about him and he can't do it alone. He's got to surround other people.
Is that where the Shazam family shows up?
Yeah, except for these because I'm pretty sure they end up in the flying beetle, and they
Oh,
come to save him. Is what it looks like. It's all in the trailer. No spoilers there because I don't know. I haven't seen it.
right.
But yeah, it looks awful.
Do you know when that's coming out?
August.
August. Okay. Yeah, I got a very Iron Man feel from it, and Pete in the chat said that the costume was Spider-Man. And Jack, we are going to talk about the Mandalorian in a couple minutes. But I didn't really like wow me. I like the kid that's acting in it, from Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Jolo.
Oh, I'll give you $10.
I don't have it in front of me. Wait, let me Google.
Oh nope, it's fine. You already missed your chance. Yeah, he's from
Jolo. I know that.
from Cobra Kai. He's great. I like the vibe of it. It just I don't know what the point is other than they'd already filmed it, but it was supposed to be an HBO Max show. And this one instead of making an HBO Max movie, they decided to release it in the theater, and
Yeah.
so whatever, let's knock it out. It's gonna continue the bad performance of DC movies. We'll see how the Flash does. I don't think all the hype in the world is
I
going to save anything they release from DC this year, except
I
for maybe Aquaman.
I think the Flash is going to be way better than you expect it to be.
I don't think it's going to perform at the box office though.
It might because of Keaton, because there's rumors now that
But the
Beetlejuice
people,
2 is like really big time in the works. Winona Ryder said she's on board. Michael Keaton's in talks supposedly.
yeah, but the people that care
Yeah,
doesn't mean they're going to go see it in the movie theater. They're going to wait 3 weeks till it's streaming.
it's true. Isn't Shazam streaming today?
In like a week and a half, I think. Which,
Um,
wow. Speaking of that, have you seen Zachary Levi
yeah,
on social media? He is losing his mind.
he's having a little bit of a meltdown. He
Wow,
needs to take,
just like flipping out on people that they need to go see this movie.
he
I have
needs
a feeling his salary was mostly points.
yeah, he needs to like put his phone down for a little bit and step away.
Yeah, it's and he even made a plea. I think we talked about that last week. How much he loved Last of Us. He's like, please cast me in season 2. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's why he's going to start talking about Chuck again. He's going to have to dig that up.
Oh, he already is.
I know.
They're talking about a reboot.
I know. Yeah, I'm not super impressed. I mean, I'll probably see it if I can see it for free in the theater.
It'll be on HBO Max like a week after it comes out.
There's nothing else DC wise. I don't
No,
think really.
no,
Like at
no.
all. It's quiet. The other trailer was the one that you said sucked.
No, I was just messing with you.
Oh, I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't want to be the one that said the Blue Beetle one sucked up front, so I let you do it.
Oh, okay.
The other one was fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's
The Secret Invasion also dropped a trailer today.
It did. And we get a better look at a couple of the characters and a better frame of what's going on. It looks like a spy thriller. It looks like a typical spy thriller with Nick Fury, and could be his last run.
Sure. Look, all the Marvel stuff kill me because I think we got conditioned, and this is just the consumer mindset, and it's part of what makes me a bad fan for this stuff. We got conditioned that for 23 movies they were all building to one thing. Now we're just getting a shitload of content that's not really going anywhere.
And well, that seems to be,
and we just have to accept it's all these different runs of comic books that are all written by different things that don't have to connect as much as we want.
Yeah, I don't.
They just didn't. They didn't prep us for it.
Now this takes place present day MCU, so it's not like in the past. That's what they're saying is.
Sure.
The trailer was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, no real surprises in it. I mean, they announced who Emilia Clarke is finally.
She's like a bad guy, right?
No.
I didn't see who they.
So spoilers, maybe, but it's been announced for the most part, and I'm sure they don't hide it in the show if it's leaked. She's Talos's kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then there's a rumor out there that Chloe Bennett is in it, that they're keeping her out of the trailers. I don't think she's going to show up.
Keep everybody out of the trailers.
Well, that's the thing, is that your trailers give everything away now, and they like, you don't need that to draw people in to watch your stuff. It's Marvel. Everybody's gonna, well, not anymore, really. I was gonna say everybody's gonna watch it anyway. That used to be the case.
Yeah, well, look, and your marquee stars in this one are Kobe Smulders and Samuel L. Jackson.
Neil Patrick Harris isn't gonna show up.
No, what's his name is Rhodey shows up.
Rhodey shows up. Yes. Look, I'll watch it because I'm a sucker for this stuff and I enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, we'll review it. It's June 21st. So when we all thought that Loki was coming. So
yeah,
surprise.
All right. The last thing I have is Mandalorian. So if you're a week behind, and Ted Lasso was great.
It is. Ted Lasso continues to be
so good.
Did you realize all of the ties to the other things we watched that Zava has?
No.
He's from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is he?
Yeah.
No shit.
He was on there for quite a while. He was one of the random agents that was just always there, even through the end.
Was he on the plane? A lot? I'll have to look him up.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And he was one of the ones that when everybody went, there was only 3 agents left that didn't go rogue.
Yeah.
He was one of them,
No shit.
and he's also in. He actually has a pretty crazy resume. If you look up the guy who
I'm
plays
looking
him,
him up
and
right now.
I'll race you.
I'm here.
Because I looked him up the other day, and he's actually married to somebody from Agents of Shield too.
Hey, Dylan. How are you? See you. He was in 27 episodes of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay.
Yeah, he's also Walking Dead, World Beyond. He was on that. He's been in a lot of stuff. You'd recognize it. He, doesn't act like that at all. I didn't even recognize him for the first day or two.
No.
And he's
No,
married
now
to Dyken Lockman.
I know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly who she is.
Yep.
She was Chloe's mom.
Yes.
Or
She
not
was
Chloe, but
also
Quinn.
from Dollhouse and a
Yes.
couple other things over the years. But
I
yeah,
recognize him now. Yes.
yeah. Once you see his regular picture, you're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He was great on Walking Dead World Beyond. Honestly. Yeah. Again, hey Dylan. So yeah, we can jump into Mandalorian. It's
Yeah.
but
I
yeah,
mean,
Ted Lasso continues to be good.
it was phenomenal. Um, I look. I say the same. I say the same thing. Um, to what Dylan said about wrestling. So if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, there were actually 3 cameos in this episode. One that you all saw.
4.
4?
Yes.
So I got 3. I
Okay.
got
We'll hit those.
right near the beginning, we get Zeb from the Rebels.
Yep.
Absolutely picture perfect CGI on this. They did a phenomenal job. It's like they're learning from past CGI mistakes.
Or they didn't have their resources split to some other movie like
That
Marvel did.
also.
Oh, and then fired her. Yeah.
Oh. So I saw Zeb, and then the other 2 I had to go back and look. In that scene where they pan over to Zeb, Dave Filoni is sitting at the bar. He's got his cowboy hat on.
Mm-hmm.
For a very, very brief, like blink and you miss it second, Deborah Chow leans out.
And who are the 2 of them talking to?
I don't know.
Rick Fujiyama?
Moranis?
Nope, Fujiyama.
Oh, okay.
Who was another director of most of
Okay.
season 1. So basically all of season 1 of the Bad Batch directors, except for Favreau, were in there. Yep. Yeah, there was same to Pete. Yeah, there was 3 directors there actually.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Jack's earlier comment where he said the acting has become comically bad. I've actually talked to a couple people who hate this season so far.
It's getting brutal online about it.
It is, but I get what they're doing, and maybe it's just because I'm a bit of a fanboy too. They're building a bigger universe, and they're scrambling, and they're doing everything in their power to connect the Last Jedi's plot to the universe. They're trying to get that clone thing to make sense.
Not Last Jedi.
Not Last Jedi. Whatever.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, they're trying to get the Palpatine cloning thing to make sense. So they're doing a lot of moving and shuffling and back work to make this make sense.
Well, not only that, but and we'll do full spoilers for both Disney Plus shows right now, right? Like so, the Bad Batch has been doing the same thing for 2 seasons, though.
Correct.
Right, where you're digging in on the clones, and now you're expanding out that clone mythology through the Mandalorian as to like, why are these people important? How do you continue that out?
I have enjoyed once the Bad Batch got to the actual plot of the show, it was a really good season. The last like 3-4 episodes were pretty good.
Yeah, every episode that actually advanced the story was great. The filler episodes were brutal to get through.
Yeah, some of they were.
But seeing the finale, and again, spoilers for the finale, and I hope it stays this way, but we lose one of the Bad Batch, and it's been out for almost a week now, so we lose Tech.
Yes.
But they did a lot of work this season to expand that character's role.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I didn't see it coming with this. I just thought they were going to spend some time with him because you had less people.
Yep.
But and then you find out also that one of the bad scientists is a clone as well, and we haven't seen female clones before.
No.
other than Omega. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that out. We're gonna have to wait a while, I'm sure,
Yeah,
a
that
couple
animation
years.
takes a
Even
long time.
it the nice thing with this though, it actually doesn't take as long as you think because they've been using the same base for it since like 2005 when they started
Okay.
Clone Wars. So a lot of the mechanics behind it are already done
I
because they cranked out this season of Bad Batch really fast. It's only been 2 years, maybe
okay.
2.5 since the last season. Maybe not even that. I don't think, but they've been able to do it really fast.
I like the clone plot line where they're done with the clones. Now, what do you do with them? Well, this guy wants to use them as experiments. This senator's trying to get clone rights done and make
Yeah.
them like. And I'm really enjoying that whole sub thing that's going through. Um, and it also makes a ton of sense why stormtroopers shoot like shit now,
Yeah.
as they're regular people. They're
Yeah.
not
Versus how great the clones were.
right. It does. I mean, they did a great job connecting those dots. Um,
So back to
yeah.
Mandalorian. Sorry for that sidetrack there, but just if you haven't been watching Bad Batch, go spend some time with Bad Batch. It's there's some filler episodes you can fast forward through, but the through plot has been great. And I'm excited to see these characters start to grow older because I think we're gonna do some time jumps and age them up a little bit after the first few episodes of next season and see where we get to the guys in Rebels with Rex and Wolf and them.
Yeah.
So Mandalorian had a couple big reveals. Like overall, I thought the episode was whatever. Um, besides that cameo there, and then we get the news at the end that Moff Gideon was freed by a Mandalorian.
Or Moff Gideon was freed and they set the Mandalorians up as the culprits.
Well, where's the rest of Bo-Katan's crew?
It's possible. I
Or
look,
I'll let you go.
the acting is a little robotic, but that's the way they kind of set these characters up as a little bit more robotic in their talking and in their the way they interact.
Well, let's not act like any of the writing for The Mandalorian has been
No. It's
great. I think I think the internet has been comparing this to Andor because Andor was so well acted and so well written. And now you go back to this and you're like, what is this shit? And this is just standard Star Wars writing. Right? This is exactly what you expect from that.
right.
I think your other option is what if Moff Gideon is figuring out how to get the Darksaber back and is one of the Mandalorians with his helmet on?
It's possible.
Right? It could
Some of them
be.
that haven't spoken yet.
There's a whole bunch.
Yep, it's
Why do
possible.
we need all these around all the time, right? Like could be one of the guys.
I
Not the guy with the awesome gun that just I don't know why they just don't send him first every time.
right, right. He's your prototypical tank. One thing that I have a question about is why was Zep there though? Why is he a fighter pilot in the New Republic? Why didn't he at the end of Rebels? He went back. Well, he brought Agent Callus back to his home, the secret homeworld of the Lasat people, to show him that the Lasat people are thriving and he didn't kill them off. I thought Zeb stayed there. I didn't know Zeb came back. And they didn't tell us he did, but
I think we get the tease for Ahsoka, right? I think that's got to be what that is, and hopefully they bring him back in Ahsoka.
there's
To
a
look,
lot. There's a lot riding on Ahsoka at this point.
there is,
Like a lot.
and we can bring him back, and they can do that CGI, and you don't have to know that. Now with the way voiceover works, they don't have to go to the studio. You don't even get a spoiler.
No.
He just records his voice at home,
Yep.
and mails it in.
Yeah.
They
go ahead.
I was going to ask, what'd you think of the battles? Because that was right. The writing wasn't great, but the battle scenes I thought were super fun.
Battles were great, and then you also have to wonder, like, who the hell is it? What we said this last week, we learned in the original Star Wars movie that TIE fighters can't be out that far into space alone, so they have to have somewhere to go back to refuel. Where did all those TIE fighters come from?
Wait, what type?
Oh wait, I'm thinking of an episode back. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
getting foggy now.
Yeah, which we did have the ones that destroyed Bo-Katan's place.
Yes.
So Pete asking, this is all taking place after Rebels. Yeah, so Rebels ends at the Battle of Endor is one of the last scenes from Rebels.
Correct.
And then we have kind of a gray area where you see Ahsoka and Sabine go and decide to search for Ezra. We don't really know when that part happens.
Right.
But it happens before last season of The Mandalorian.
Right. Now, I read a really good thing that goes back to the end of last season of Mandalorian, where Moff Gideon was staring in terror at as Luke Skywalker was coming in. And why would he be staring in terror? Because if you really think about the mythos surrounding this one human being, he blew up the first Death Star. He was the only other person in the room with Palpatine and Vader. He comes out of the room with Vader all banged up.
Yeah.
The Death Star then blows up. Like, he's the last remaining allegedly Jedi. And that's a good reason for why Moff Gideon was terrified of seeing him, because of the mythos surrounding this man, which I like.
Yeah, we're already halfway through. Or are we more than half? We're more than halfway through now, right? 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So there's only 3 episodes left.
Right.
So as usual, I think we're gonna get half the story, or they're gonna scramble super fast.
I hope they don't scramble fast. I hope this is they give you enough story that it just moves along.
Or they're just gonna use it to set up Ahsoka by the end, which is entirely possible.
I think you're gonna get the end of this season. You're gonna get a glimpse of Thrawn on a
But
bridge.
how many episodes of Ahsoka are gonna be Boba Fett episodes, and how many are gonna be Mandalorian episodes? That's the real question.
I think you can get Ahsoka without having to lean a lot on the Mandalorian. Like, I think they had.
You could have gotten Boba Fett without having to lean on anybody if you did it right.
Well, if you did it right, yeah.
Because everybody thought the Mandalorian was going to be Boba Fett to begin with.
That's pretty much the truth, yeah.
So I think that wraps us up, though. So thanks, everybody, for finding the Geek Spot. Make sure you tell a friend, drop us a line if you're listening. Appreciate it. Give us that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast from. And you can catch me this week. I'll be at Crossroads Tavern on Friday. You can always check me out at jackkidmusic.com to see where I'll be at. And Frank, you got anything exciting going on this week?
I'm going to curl up and go to sleep after I watch WrestleMania or Raw tonight.
Cool.
That's it.
All right. Thanks for finding the Geek Spot, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See ya.